Hi guys, welcome back to RTs Share Tea, where respiratory therapists live out loud. With me, your host Linda Fry, the asthma lady. Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome to anyone new. Happy holidays! I am so excited for today's episode. It is a special because we have another guest co-host, and we are doing something a little different. We're calling this episode till the season for tis the season for asthma awareness, right? Because as we know, around this time, this is also tis the season for asthma triggers. And I have my friend here who we were having conversations about this, and it made sense for her to be a guest co-host here today. So hi Anna. So I'm going to let Anna do her thing. I'm going to let her introduce herself. She's a good friend of mine and my husband's. And we recently got the chance to link up and we're having this conversation on what bothers us with our asthma in regards to holidays and decorating the home and whatnot around this time. So, Anna, please introduce yourself to the listeners.
Hi, everyone. So, yes, my name is Ana Economides. I am a lifelong New Yorker, born
Yes,
in Queens. Yeah.
Queens.
Yep. Represent Queens. And I've been living in South Florida for the past 3 years, but I always come back home. Nothing like New York. And I am a chronic asthma sufferer.
Right. I mean, and yay, New York. So, and we're gonna talk about Florida and all those things and how you deal with the traveling back and forth and everything, especially during the holidays. So let me give people some context on how this episode came about. So we recently went to a Greek restaurant, which was very good, by the way, in New York City, in Manhattan. And we were just talking about, we were catching up. We haven't seen each other in a long time. And we just started talking about our holiday plans and just things that bothers us because we have asthma and things the limits that we have because we have asthma and dealing with things like decorations. But before we get into those things, I'm going to let Anna tell us so Anna, when did you find out you had asthma, and is it just you in your family that has it? When were you first diagnosed?
I was diagnosed back when I was 8 years old, and I'm actually the only person in my family with it.
You're like me. Same,
Yeah, lucky us.
same exact thing. Diagnosed at 8, and I am the only out of my siblings, out of my mom and dad. I don't think my grandma had it. Yeah, so very, very similar.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so I know you also, from what we have spoke about, I know you also have a history of dealing with other chronic lung diseases in your family with other relatives, so can you tell us more about that and your experience around that?
Sure. So my dad, he actually got lung cancer, and that was from smoking. And I contracted asthma from being around him, so experiencing secondhand smoking.
Wow.
And by the time he stopped, it was too late for him, and I developed chronic asthma. My parents saw that I couldn't run. I was wheezing.
Yeah.
It just wasn't normal. And so we went to all these doctors, and that's when I was diagnosed.
Wow. Yeah, and I get it. I personally, and thank you for sharing that your story and just knowing that you have dealt with other chronic lung diseases in your family and you guys just having to go to different doctor's appointments and you having to experience what with your dad, what was going on with him, and then you on your own having to navigate through being the only. in your family having to deal with that. And so I totally get it. It's hard for relatives that don't have asthma to be able to relate to the limits that we may have, you know. And
Hmm.
so but okay, so now shifting towards the holidays again. So once again, it is the season, right? It is with the time when all the decorations are out, um, when all the scents are out, in all the stores and whatnot. And so well, you know what? Let me tell you mine. And so my holiday triggers are things like I don't know what you call that, but when you have snow in the can, is that what they call it?
Hmm.
Right. So I've used that probably one time at an old job. I had to decorate the storefront at a pharmacy, at my old pharmacy. And I had to use that can to decorate the window, and I automatically started coughing and wheezing the minute I started. So I knew automatically I could never use that thing again. It was like the worst. That for me, the smoke on a I love candles. So I have a lot of candles, love candles. When the candle is at the very end, I don't know, there's a word for it, how the candle burns. When it's towards its end, that smoke that comes from that also is an asthma trigger. So that is a no for me. So when I see the candles getting low, I switch it out automatically. That for me, no real Christmas tree, no real wreaths. I love the way they look in people's homes, and I wish I can smell them. I cannot. This is like I go to the stores, automatically coughing, sneezing, it's a wrap. I can't do it. And those are the big ones for me. And cold air. I have to put on a scarf if I go outside with my and I'm talking and without a scarf, forget it. Wheeze city. I'm wheezing a storm. So I mean, so what are your triggers? Like what are your limits? How do you decorate the home? What's
So
it like for you?
pretty similar, like you were saying about the candles. It is the smoke, but it's also the fragrance. So
Okay.
I can't
Too
even do
strong.
incense either, which I really love. I
Mm.
can't because it's the fragrance that gets to me, so
Mhm.
it's my asthma includes allergies.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
and besides candles, like I said, fragrance, um, definitely in Florida, it's I have allergies all year round because things are always blooming. The weather is better over there, so
Right.
things are always blooming and blossoming. So certain plants, certain trees trigger my asthma.
Okay.
And talking about the holidays, I guess emotion too. Sometimes I'm really, really happy, or when I'm laughing, that's when I
Yes.
would start wheezing and
Oh my gosh.
sometimes
The
get an
belly
attack.
laughs.
Yeah.
Yes. Same thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I totally forgot those the emotions, the belly laughs, anything like that where the emotions are very strong, for the holidays. We play a lot of games. We would play what you call those things, Jenga, Uno, so when you start
Yeah.
laughing and you're yelling with the family, forget it. I need my inhaler.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, yeah, oh yeah, the good times. um okay, so how do you go about decorating the home? So what did you do this year? Like,
So I have fake candles.
oh,
The
okay,
ones that have it like a little fake flame. So it has a
okay,
bulb, like a light
okay,
bulb.
okay.
So they look like, yeah, unfortunately, they're unscented.
Oh,
Um, but they're the safest for me. They look really beautiful. Like I said, they look like real candles. So
right.
I use those. Personally, I have a very small fake tree. It looks real, but it's not.
Right.
Um, and same thing, like even when I have these things, I have to make sure to dust to clean out the dust because dust is also a trigger.
Mhm.
So I make sure, like, even though it's fake, so okay, I'm not dealing with like I said, the real trees and pollen and plants. there's still the dust component because they're fake. It attracts dust. So I have to make sure to always wipe them down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Right. I I totally agree because I did forget that when I take the Christmas tree out, because when I put our tree, right, the fake one, it's in a big red bag that we keep like in storage. And you're totally right. When I open the bag, I kind of have to be careful, or I let Chris open it because it's like you gotta like kind of like air it out, like dust it out. I mean, like just yeah, like give it like a good air out. I would leave it
Hmm.
outside for a little bit before I put it back in the house when we first take it out. When speaking of dust, I also had a situation that it didn't happen to me this year, but it was like a few years ago. I had some guests coming over my house for the holidays, and I had to quickly, it was like let me just quickly vacuum real quick. I had like a small area rug. I don't have carpet, just small area rug. So I have like the little vacuum. What do you call those? The stick,
Like a,
the
yeah,
stick, right? So
yeah.
I'm quickly vacuuming, just getting my things together. I'm like, okay, let me vacuum and get dressed real quick. I vacuum and then I'm like, okay, let me empty it out. So it's a bagless system, but so you just open the container and you dump it in the trash. So I completely opened this thing knowing not to do that. I open it and throw it in the trash, and immediately when I open it, I end up inhaling half of that stuff
Oh
and
no.
automatically started wheezing, coughing and wheezing. I had to run and get my inhaler. And it's like, so even for me as the asthma lady, like we're in the thick of things and just, you know, um, moving quick, you forget things like that. So I know to open those things, wear a mask and open it outside. Like, so that's the tip, to open the vacuum outside or dump it outside so it doesn't be the dust particles and everything, the cat hair is not re-released in the air. So yeah, it dust really is another one of those triggers we just have to be careful about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for reminding me about that story. I totally forgot about that one. So Anna, and you know what? As a journalist, you travel a lot. So I mean, so how do you prepare for for traveling as someone with asthma? Like, how do you deal with your medication, if any, while traveling? How does that look like for you?
Sure. So because you don't know what the seasons are going to be like, you don't know what
Mhm.
can actually trigger you. So I carry two inhalers, my rescue inhaler, which is albuterol, as well as Symbicort.
Okay.
So I carry those everywhere with me. I actually make sure to have more than one at a time if you're able to do that. I was able to get a 3 month supply. So I was able to get three inhalers each because sometimes I do travel for a while.
Okay.
Um, and, this might be a little bit extreme, but I actually, wherever I go, I always make sure to go to the local pharmacy and ask them if they have something similar, just in case if for whatever reason I don't have it on me.
Okay.
I ask them, do you
Oh,
have,
snap.
and they always do. They always have some form of inhaler to deal with asthma attacks. And I also make sure to check where the nearest hospital is, um, because you
Yes.
never know. Yeah, it's
Cannot
the
put.
reality. It's my life, so I just always have to check for that.
Mhm.
As well, in my phone, there is an option. I have an iPhone, and they have a health app. And in the health app, it does have an option for you to list out your conditions and medications.
Okay.
So, God forbid anything happens, someone can easily access that if for some reason I can't vocalize it. Um,
Okay. Oh, yeah.
yeah, so those are
So quick.
yeah, those are some of the things I do. Yeah, I try to be extra precautious,
Right.
and because even to this day, having asthma, 20 plus years later, I still get attacks. Like you said, there's still things that I am not totally prepared for. Like you said, we're running, we're doing things, and before
Right.
you know it, I can have an attack. So I just like to be very cautious. Also, now that I think about it, masks, even before they became a thing during the pandemic. I actually used to wear masks when I was on the plane,
Mhm.
and I remember getting funny looks from people, but again, it was just to prevent from getting any sort of viral infection,
Right.
because nobody likes to start off their travels that way.
Like,
You know,
oh, not in another country.
yeah,
Like,
yep.
definitely not in another country. And you're totally right. That's why I make sure I get my flu shot every year. And I make sure I don't have those problems because, yes, that is a big trigger for me. Any type of infection, cold, flu, forget it. It's the worst. Big
Oh
trigger.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I totally forgot to mention that. Yeah, I got my flu shot a few days ago. I always do, and you're right, because any little cold, anything that's like seemingly, one and done,
Mhm.
people who have asthma, it can turn into something serious. How many times have I had the cold or the flu and it would turn into bronchitis,
Right.
because I have the added complication of asthma.
Mhm.
So, if I can prevent that, if it means wearing a mask more often than not, like I said, carrying those things, like I said, knowing where, these health facilities are, then so be it.
Like, I love those tips because you know what, I don't travel as much as you do, but those are some really good tips because you just never know. I've never experienced that where I had to look for an inhaler in another country. And so I usually make sure my inhaler comes with me, but I've just never thought about that. If I misplaced it, would I know where to go? If in another country, if I can speak the language, go to a pharmacy, get a backup, and what that even looks like. So yeah, so thank you for giving the visuals for that. Those are
Yeah.
some tips for people who travel. So yeah, thank you. And even and once again for me, another one I forgot to mention, another is strong smells from perfume from guests coming over
Mm,
your home. I love all types of cologne and perfume, but like for the holidays, I feel like it's like everyone wearing stuff at the same time, especially sometimes I call it like church perfume, not to be offensive,
mhm.
just because I'm a church girl. And sometimes all those smells at the same time is a lot. So that is another time where I have to wear a mask. Like it's yeah. So I'm gonna go to church for most likely for New Year's Eve. Let the
Mhm.
ball drop while I'm at church, and so yeah, I will be masked up. Because,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because of those smells. So yeah, well, Anna, thank you for sharing those tips with us. Thank you for being here with us. It just made so much sense to have you as a guest co-host today, as someone that has asthma and who has to deal with these things during the holidays. These are things that people with asthma have to think about. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Mm,
I'm happy that I was able to get you to come on, share your perspectives during the holiday season. Thank you so
yeah.
much, Anna.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. And we need to continue to chop it up and talk about these things because yeah, we want to always make sure that we continue to share the resources with everybody that needs the info. So yes, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here with me once again on RT Share Tea. Thank you so much as we are wrapping up the year. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the support. Please, guys, chime in. For those of you who do have asthma, have relatives with asthma, chime in on the convo. Let us know, what do you do around the holidays? What are your limits? What do you have to, I don't know, adjust to have a jolly and asthma friendly holiday season? So let us know, put your comments in. Know that we are here every Wednesday on most podcast platforms, and we are on YouTube on Thursdays, guys. Thank you so much. And know that we are growing together. So much more to come in 2024. All right, guys. So, Anna, once again, thank you so much for being here with me. Guys, I'll see you next time. I'll see you in 2024. Bye.
Bye.